Hey, Andrew, Brandon, welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Andrew, going to start with you. When COVID-19 hit, I know what I was doing to kind of pass the time. I was still able to work, have somewhat of a normal schedule. But when I go home, that's it. I'm at home. You can't go anywhere. And as for you, during this time period, no sports, no recreation, no nothing. What have you done, Andrew, to pass the time to kind of alleviate and kind of just make it easier on yourself than it was for a lot of people?
So yeah, initially when COVID hit, I was in school. So for the first 2 months of COVID, I was just purely focused on school stuff all the time. But after that, having no sports really hit me hard because being out of school and having nothing to do in your spare time, it sort of does suck. You just sort of sit there and do nothing. So eventually, probably a week or two into doing nothing, I was like, I really got to do something, just get a hobby. So I started just watching movies and shows on Netflix. And
Okay.
right now, just as an example, I'm on the last season of How I Met Your Mother.
Hmm. Hmm. What? Are you a big Netflix guy? Like normally?
Not really, no. I sort of just started up since COVID.
Okay. Okay.
You're
I
welcome.
that's not my thing. I normally used to do Netflix a little bit, but I stopped just because there's other stuff to do. I did go back to Netflix as well. What other shows besides How I Met Your Mother are you watching right now?
That'd be the main one, but what else did I do? I watched The Witcher initially. I watched a few episodes of that. I didn't really get off on that one too much. And
That could be the evidence we need from Mark.
Friends
Yeah.
as well. I watched a bit of Friends a while back.
Okay. Okay. Did you? That's pretty popular here in America. Did you like that?
Yeah, that was good. Like, I've seen episodes on TV every now and then, but there's no continuity. And you see one season's episode here, then you see another season's episode an hour later. Like, there really is no direct flow there. So actually getting to watch the show just episode to episode, that was a bit interesting.
Nice, nice. And then Brandon, for you, same thing. Like COVID hit. What did you kind of do? What did you do to pass the time?
I'm in the same boat as Andrew, actually. Like, we're both in school together, so focused on that a lot. Then sitting at home, my dog's been loving it, so getting her out every day. And I've buried myself in Netflix as well. Same shows, actually. I think I'm the one that got them onto both.
Huh. Huh. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
I'd have to go with Friends. I'm also a big, I love watching The Office. I think I've watched that first episode to last about 6 times now.
Nice, nice. That's those shows you mentioned. How About Your Mother? I started that a couple times. Friends didn't really get into. And in The Office, I can't get into The Office at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the humor. I'm not sure, but I can't get into it. But I have friends that they get on me for not watching it. I'm like, guys, I just can't do it. That's not me. But I see Brandon, like, you're smiling the whole time. Like, it seems like you really love it.
Yeah, and I actually get on Andrew all the time for not liking it either, so it's pretty funny. Yeah. It's a love or hate show, right? There's no in between with it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's one of those things I like to say where it's not a bad thing if you don't like it. It's just it's a taste. If you have a taste for it, you're all in. It's like us with sports and our teams. We're all in all the time. And speaking of sports, you guys started Plutus Sports Analytics recently, and it is a company that a lot of people will love because you guys do something that assists people with sports betting. Andrew, let's start with you, Andrew. I'll go back up. No, Brandon, let's start with you this time. Brandon, with Plutus, what was the kind of beginning stages? How did you guys start? Like, how did the three of you start the company? And then, like, what was let's start there. What was the motivator for you? Then what was the motivator for all three of you to get together and do it?
It actually all started around Andrew, to be honest.
Oh.
He's been creating models for sports betting for years now. And people were approaching him about buying the predictions from him. So he brought up to us one day, starting a business about it. So Joel and I jumped on board and we've taken it off pretty quickly in the last few months because we just started back in February now. Yeah.
Andrew, you're smiling the entire time. And he said you're kind of the mastermind behind all this, and people wanted to pay you for the predictions, which is you got to be pretty good. And people are trying to give you money so they can make more money. Where did that love for making these predictions start?
Honestly, I don't even think I could tell you one specific source. Like, I'd say it all probably stems from just my interest in sports in general and just loving to look at numbers and analyze them. But I
Oh,
mean, like, I don't know. As for betting, I started betting probably late in high school, maybe grade 11, grade 12, and just from there, my interest just sort of developed exponentially.
nice, nice. And I know that there's a third individual, a part of the team who's not with us now. I don't care which one of you two wants to take this route, but was it a collective unit at all times to have three people a part of the company, or how did the three of you come together?
Yeah,
I'll take this one, Andrew.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're all actually in the same engineering class, and the three of us are bickering about sports nonstop, day in and day out. And Joel's another guy that's crazy into stats in a lot of different leagues that nobody really pays attention to. Like he's big into like European hockey and whatnot. So yeah, he was easily like we all just started at the exact same time once Andrew brought it up.
European hockey. And as an American, all I normally focus on is NBA, college football, Major League Baseball, football, NFL, hockey, golf's on my TV right now. But European hockey, that's the first time I've even heard of someone watching it or focusing on it, even though they don't live over there in that continent. What sports do, Andrew, you first, what sports do you follow and say your fandom is tied to these teams?
From top to bottom, sports I follow the most to the least. I'd probably go football first, baseball second, basketball third, and hockey fourth. And as for the teams I like in each sport, for football, I'm a Cowboys fan. Dad sort of fathered me into that one.
Oh, gosh.
Baseball, I'd go with Jays, just because Canada, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, Raptors because of Canada, but I'm mainly a Lakers fan. And also a LeBron fan as well, so seeing him go there sort of just amplified it a bit. And as for hockey, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan.
Okay.
That's evidenced by my room here.
And then Brandon, same thing for you. What teams are you pull for?
I'm all about hockey. Like that's by far my favorite. And then definitely baseball and football are close second. And I'm not a big basketball guy. Like I'll kind of follow the stats, but I'm not into really watching the games. For hockey, I'm a Leafs fan, so it's kind of funny a Leafs and Habs fan working together. Baseball, same with the Jays and the White Sox. Football, Seahawks, and basketball, the Raptors, Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Help us, the Americans, because a lot of people that listen to this are Americans. And I'll start with Brandon. You first. You said you love hockey. Explain what hockey means to Canadians.
It's kind of everything for us, to be honest. It's kind of, yeah, you just, like, I grew up when I learned how to skate, I was in like a small town in Newfoundland. So there's nothing to do. Like, I think I had my first pair of skates at like the age of 1. Like, just like my dad kind of pushed me around on skates. And it's just like, I don't know, that's how you kind of build major friendships here, I find. It's just through hockey. And then once you get a little bit older, sports kind of branch out a little bit more then. But hockey is definitely the number one because street hockey, ice hockey, all of them kind of go together.
Do you guys play hockey like on ice, like on like ponds when it's frozen? Do you guys like get up there? Oh, you do. Okay.
Oh, that's the best kind of hockey. That's the best. Like nothing beats a good game of pond hockey.
Oh man, I watch movies and see it there. I know one movie I watched when I was a kid was like the Mighty Ducks, D2 Mighty Ducks, and I know with the first one, the first movie of the series, the little kids are out there practicing on a pond, and it's pond hockey, as you call it. I didn't even know that was a term. This is all kind of foreign to me, just hearing like some of the stuff you're talking about, because hockey for us is nothing like me, basketball, football. If that was 24/7, 365, my life is already complete, but it would be even better than what it already is now, because that's it. Like, I grew up on basketball, grew up on football. Like, I like baseball. I watch playoff hockey, but that's it. Like, that's just what I watch. And then the whole pond, like, I'm sure you could use some terminology that would be different, would be new, but I would be intrigued because I would like to know and hear more things. Go ahead if you could, Brandon. Like, explain like more hockey terminology that may be exclusive to that sport.
I don't really know. I guess like I don't know
One
what's.
thing I'll say, if you're looking for some terms, watch the show Letterkenny.
Okay.
It's typical, like very stereotypical Northern Ontario hockey, but you will learn a lot of very funny and interesting terms from that show.
Is that on Netflix? I've never heard of it.
That one's on Crave, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a Crave special one.
Okay. I'll have to look into it. And then Brandon, no, excuse me, not Brandon, Andrew, you said two things to me that I know very well. One, you're a Lakers fan. Number two, you're a big LeBron James fan. So when LeBron James went to the Lakers, it was kind of like the icing on the cake. I don't know if that's how you described it, but that's how I'll describe it for you, kind of like the icing on the cake. I'm a Pacers fan. The Colts. I live in Indiana, so it's all Colts and Pacers for me all the time. And then college football, college basketball, I do branch out outside of the Midwest for that. But with you liking LeBron, liking the Lakers, please explain to us what you think about the Lakers' chances and LeBron's chances in the NBA playoffs once those start.
If you had asked me that 2 weeks ago, I'd say we actually had a decent shot. But since the restarts, we honestly haven't looked that great so far. We beat the Clippers night one, yes, but since then we have not looked like a good team.
Yeah, it's odd. I know Rondo's not playing. I know Avery Bradley's not playing. And it's just one of those things where you expect so much from the Lakers and LeBron James. You expect them both or the teams to play to another level. But we're just not seeing it. Are you optimistic that they'll still – no. Why?
I want to be cautiously optimistic, but with that whole 3 to 4 month break in LeBron's age, I really don't know if I can still root for them as much. Like, yes, they're a good team on paper, and yes, they were good before the whole restart. But you got to put some value in recent games. If they haven't shown it now, they really do need to change something to turn it around.
I agree with you there. With hockey coming back, Brandon, right back to you with this one. I told you before, hockey really isn't my thing as far as like focusing every single day on the games and what's going on. I think you said that you had one day, it was like hockey all day, like it was 4 games back to back to back to back. And with the hockey restart for you, I know Andrew and I could talk about basketball and kind of I can see he's smiling the entire time. The entire time we're talking, there's a smile on his face, and it gets big when you bring up basketball or stuff like that. But yours gets bigger, I can tell, when hockey comes up. With the hockey restart, like what were your expectations with restarting the season? And then what are you kind of happy to see now that the season has restarted?
I was actually expecting like the younger teams like to kind of excel a little bit more. Like I was actually expecting Edmonton to just blow Chicago out of the water, but that also brings me to the excitement. I love a good underdog story, so it was nice to see them get put out, even though it is a Canadian team gone. But there's a couple other teams. Like I expected the Leafs to blow out Columbus too. It's like they brought a couple guys back after injuries and whatnot, but obviously it hasn't happened. But yeah, just watching it morning to night, it's awesome.
Yeah, for me, that reminds me of the NCAA like March Madness college basketball tournament. Like that's like the ultimate time period for me, where at least for my time schedule, 12 noon, you get basketball all the way up until midnight at 1 a.m. It's basketball all day. And here it's common. Bosses know during that time period, people will take those days off of work, go to the bar in the area, and simply just watch basketball. And Boston, like people know, like yeah, it's March Madness time. The tournament's on. He's taking time off work. He's either going to go to the game, travel, or just stay at home, watch basketball all day. Like no one's going to be upset about it. And this time of year, we get to do that now. It's so unexpected, but it's nice. I think I told one of you, golf's on TV right now. Pretty soon, when the NBA comes on today, it's going to be NBA basketball the rest of the day. My Cubs aren't playing right now because they postponed the series due to the Rona and the virus. A couple players tested positive. I think more than a couple actually, and they postponed the series. So it's just all sports all day long, and I love it. And I want to turn this over to you, Andrew and Brandon, right now. Just talk a little hockey, like what was going on early in the season, what's going on now, because I know you guys can talk about this way more than me. I don't mind turning the show over to you guys for a little bit. just to kind of have a little back and forth. And I want to see you guys interact because I could tell Brandon when Andrew was talking about Netflix, you were kind of joking around with him saying, yeah, you kind of helped him with that. So I really want to hear like your guys' takes on hockey, the season, who you guys expect to win, all that stuff. Andrew, you can start. I know you love to talk, and then Brandon can kind of just hop in and have a little nice back and forth.
Yep. For a starting point here, we'll bring up my Habs here. So initially, basically the NHL has a draft lottery every year, and with COVID, they made it slightly different this year. So there was sort of a play-in round, they call it, and how the draft lottery worked out, a team who loses in the play-in round gets the first overall pick, which will likely be Alexis Lafreniere, who is pretty much a franchise player. He's been compared to Sidney Crosby before. So Montreal being in the play-in round, I was really rooting for them to lose, but they somehow pulled out and won the round. So I'm sort of pissed about that. What are your thoughts on that, Brandon? Do you think they deserved that series?
Yeah, they played really well, actually. It's kind of hard to say that when you're a Leafs fan, but yeah, I think they played really well. I think they outplayed Pittsburgh by like a long shot. It was nice to see Carey Price back to close to his old form, but it's also a little terrifying to know there's a 25% chance that Pittsburgh or Edmonton is going to get him. So,
yeah, that's another thing too. Like those teams that are seen right now as borderline cup contenders, they have a chance at getting a generational player. Like,
yeah, I think another sleeper team that a lot of people are kind of putting out of the question is the Rangers too. Like if he goes there, like they're a very young team in the mix of a rebuild. I think that could be terrifying.
yeah, and in our group chat too yesterday, we were actually having a discussion about this, and I was saying I don't want him to go to the Rangers. But after thinking about this more last night, I actually sat down in bed and probably sat about this for 15 minutes or so. I actually wouldn't mind him going to the Rangers. They're a good young team, like you said, and that actually would be fun hockey to watch.
Yeah, and I think from both of our perspective, we don't want them to end up in Florida because make it harder for the Leafs and Habs to make the playoffs.
Exactly, yes.
So, yeah.
And Jay, to get you involved here as well, I guess I'm sort of flipping the whole host thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you follow hockey at all?
I do not. No, I don't at all. I used to keep up with it a little bit, try to be able to focus around when the playoffs came on, but I haven't. And honestly, with so much baseball and basketball and then baseball, and then with college football starting soon in NFL, hockey is like the last thing on my mind. So no, I don't. That's why I'm so intrigued, and I enjoy listening to you guys talk about it, because not just the terminology, I think it was pond hockey that he mentioned earlier, but just like you guys talking about it, I may turn a game on and just sit down and watch it and just focus on it just to learn more about the sport. I know I can know some terminology, but I can't sit here and I can't say who's good, who's not good. I do know Sidney Crosby. I do know that. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd, but I do know exactly. I haven't heard that name before. So I hockey, no, not at all. No,
Yeah.
man. No, I don't. But it's nice that we're able to. It's nice that there's so many varieties of sports. And I will say this: I don't do hockey, but I will watch the World Cup when it comes around and root for the USA soccer during that time period. MLS soccer, I don't watch. Somebody actually said when their season restarted, they said, Major League Soccer is back. Are you going to watch it? I said, no, I'm not going to. It doesn't intrigue me. But there's something about the excitement of hockey that is almost the same level as you see at college football games, if not higher. Now it's a different degree because it's not as popular of a sport. But when you watch hockey games and see how crazy, how wild, how loud the fans are, it's something that pulls the casual fan like myself in to watch hockey, because you're saying, wow, it's a fast-paced game. It's amazing that they can move that fast and move at that pace and be that agile on ice. I mean, I've tried skating before. Ice skating, I suck. I could rollerblade a little bit. I can try this just regular skate, but ice skating, no, not at all. Like, I stopped doing it because last time I did it, I think I hurt my knee from falling so much. So no, I can't do that at all. But when you guys go to hockey games, explain the atmosphere and the environment. Andrew, with you, and then back up to Brandon. Just explain what you guys feel when you're at a game.
Yes, so I've only been to 3 professional games before, and they were regular season games probably halfway to 2/3 of the way into the season. So yes, the environment is what you see on TV, like fans are cheering all the time in that. But if you look at that and compare it to playoff games, 2 completely different levels. There's nothing that beats playoff hockey. Like even playoff baseball, like that's good baseball, absolutely. But I put playoff hockey like well above that.
And I've heard that comparison before. One of my buddies, I went to middle school and high school with him. He's actually very big on Twitter and has made different comments about how playoff baseball and playoff hockey. Now, I've watched playoff baseball. I can understand that. But playoff hockey, there's some little glimpses that I've gotten, the seconds or minutes or hours that I've watched of playoff hockey. I can tell the crowd is different. The intensity is different of the players, of the coaches. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like everybody's amped up on some type of pre-workout, and they get into the arena, and it's just loud the entire time. Brandon, how would you describe the atmosphere at a hockey game?
Yeah, it's crazy. But the one I find a little bit more exciting is Quebec Major Junior League. I've watched them a fair amount. And last year I actually got to watch the Canada-Russia series live. And that was probably the best because it's everybody trying to make the NHL. And they are going at 110% the entire time. So there's a lot of harder hits and the faster hockey. Like the fans get so into it. Like it's crazy.
Oh man, I got to get into it. Somehow I only have one TV in here, but I have laptops multiple. So I will find a way to watch some hockey this weekend, and then either maybe message Brandon or find a way to message Andrew like, hey, you guys are right. Like I should have been watching this a long time ago. But before we get out of here, I want to ask Brandon first and then Andrew, for someone that would like to embark on Plutus and utilize the predictions maybe that Andrew started a while ago, or all three of you guys got to put your minds together. If someone wanted to take part of Plutus Sports Analytics and the predictions that you guys provide, Brandon, what kind of plug or what would you say to that person that's curious and kind of on the fence about signing up?
We've been doing testing for years because Andrew's been at it for quite a while. And every year we're showing great, fantastic results. And last year we were up over 500%, so that's phenomenal. And this year already we are 2 weeks and a day into the season, and we're already up about 50%. So it's pretty impressive. And like, there's no competitor that even comes close to our price. So for a membership, which is a big thing. But we post all our past results on Instagram and our site, so it's easy to see and give us your feedback kind of thing.
Andrew, same thing. If someone wanted to sign up for Plutus, was kind of on the fence. They hear me talk about it all the time. I'm actually the ad that I'm going to plug it. I plugged it before you and I started. This is airing on the episode, so they already hear it. Like they know about Plutus. They hear the spiel. But if you were to get someone were to message you on social media or just someone you see on the street, what would you say to that person that may be on the fence but needs someone to just push them over the edge? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I mean, I basically say everything that Brandon said there as well. And I guess on top of that as well, for someone who's on the fence, basically, if they're interested in sports betting at all, why not sign up for the service? Our service has been proven to show results. And if the person is interested in sports betting, just that little bit of help with their picks and their money-making process, that goes a long way.
It does.
Another thing to add to that too is we don't have contracts and stuff. So if somebody tries it for a month and doesn't like it, no big deal. If they but I can guarantee that you'll like it after a month, pretty much. So,
guys, I can tell you for sure, 100%, you will like it. Follow them on Instagram, on Twitter. On Twitter, for those of you that follow me, I will tag them in the link when I tweet this episode out on Wednesday. So you have no reason not to. If you have more questions about it, email me. I will project you and push you to talk to Brandon if you need to, or Andrew, to get more questions answered, or I can answer your questions. If you're a sports bettor and you like sports betting, there is no reason why you should not sign up for Plutus Sports Analytics and the predictions that they provide every single day. As Brandon mentioned, they do provide the results. So it's not like they're doing something but not being transparent. A very transparent company, and I love it. As part of the reason why I teamed up with these guys. Brandon, Andrew, is there any last comment you guys want to leave the people about anything? It could be sports, it could be not sports, could be about Plutus, could be about something else. Andrew, start with you, and Brandon, if you guys have any last comments, go ahead and say it.
2 words: go Lakers.
Brandon, anything?
If you're gonna watch hockey this weekend, watch the Leafs game on Sunday. That's definitely gonna be worth it.
Nice, guys. Andrew, Brandon, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been fun. You guys have encouraged me with the smiles of both Brandon and Andrew the entire time while talking about hockey. Encouraged me to watch some hockey this weekend because I need some excitement in my life, and I think hockey can provide that for me. Andrew, Brandon, thank you guys so much for coming on here on the JCMS podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you for having
Thanks a
us,
lot.
Greg.